in a conference that has 3 defending champions in it. Talk about what the realistic concept was, what your realistic expectations are this season trying to do that.
Thanks for reminding me, first of all. I think that I have two different issues. Okay, one issue, the one that everyone sees, is the fact that we're 2-10 and 3-9 over the last 2 years, having one conference game in that time frame. The other one, which I think is maybe even more important, were not the losses last year, but how badly they lost so often. And I think that the first thing you've got to do is get your team to be more competitive on a weekly basis. Because once you get your team more competitive on a weekly basis, more wins will naturally follow. I think that that's the #1 job that me, together with my staff, I think that we have to permeate all the way down to our players, is that we expect them to know what to do and go out and do it hard for 60 minutes. And I think that at least gives you a chance.
Got a question on the outside left.
Hey, Coach, Aaron today, with Fox Sports. Just a few months ago, Dave Chris was still deciding on whether or not he was going to attend Kansas. You go through spring football, and here he is today as a captain and a representative of the team in media days. A lot of the questions that have been asked of other coaches have been of veteran leadership and who's been leading in the offseason. Can you talk about that process with Dane gelling with the team so quickly and so obviously earning their respect in a short period of time?
Well, obviously Dane and I have known each other since going back to early high school days when we first got involved in the whole recruiting process. But I think that when he came here, it really wasn't about me selling him on me. Our relationship is wonderful. It was whether or not he thought that he could come in here and be competitive or not. So he spent the whole time with the offensive line, which shows you that he's a very intelligent young man. Because he wanted to know whether or not he thought that the offensive line would give him an opportunity. And I think that he's such a natural leader that it was easy for the players to follow him, the skilled players. But I think that if you haven't won over the offensive line, that I think that's a great place to start. I was also happy when the team voted for captains that there was a close vote between him and Tanner, because I thought that if there was no one on the existing team that the players thought highly of, that would have sent an awfully bad message to me that none of the previous teammates were respected or revered. And I think that I was very happy the way that all turned out.
Question on the outside right.
Coach Sean with the K-State Collegian.
Where am I? Okay, sorry.
Coach, you spent a year with the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's and obviously it's in the same area as Lawrence and all that. Has that helped at all, or anything like that? Just being somewhat familiar with the KC metro area and being able to recruit and all that kind of stuff.
Well, to be honest with you, it's one of the reasons why I took the job. I personally really enjoyed my time with the Chiefs. I had we had some family issues. Most people know I have a daughter with special needs. She had a couple of really tough situations occur in the 1 year we were there. So it caused us to move out in a short time frame, which wasn't my intent when I first got there. But once we got everything settled, we got my daughter, kind of settled, and this job presented itself, it wasn't a lack of familiarity with Kansas or the Kansas City area. It kind of encouraged us to go ahead and take this job and take this opportunity and see if we can't take a losing program and turn it into a competitive winning program.
Question all the way in the back right.
Matt Hayes, Lawrence World again. Coach, you just talked about Dane and his adjustment to town. We haven't heard a whole lot about Anthony McDonald, Mike Ragone, the other Notre Dame guys. Do you have any update on how they're adjusting and kind of getting along in town?
I mean, my blockheads, yeah, they're both of these guys really like being here. They're doing well in school, which was always a little bit of a concern when you're bringing in fifth-year guys. You want to make sure that, hey, look, at anyone that's taken a fifth year somewhere else, for anyone who hasn't figured this one out yet, they're doing that to enhance their value to play on Sunday. That's why they're doing it. They're not doing it because they want to go to another school all of a sudden. They want to go somewhere that gives them an opportunity to enhance their value on Sunday. So both Anthony was behind Manti, well, that wasn't looking too well. Okay, and Regone, you would have been behind Tyler Eifert, and if you went back, that wasn't looking too well either. Because if you pick the two best players on that team that they came from, that's who they were behind. So I think that these guys are looking forward to the opportunity to compete, to be on the field on a regular basis, and that gives us a lot better chance.
Question on the aisle right.
Yeah, Charlie, Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman. What is it that's going on at KU and Lawrence that maybe you think this is a job you could turn around and a program you could build into a winner?
Well, that's a very, very good question. So let's look at this objectively. You're sitting down in Gainesville, you get offered this job. So what do? You look at your two closest competitors, proximity-wise, your two closest competitors. So you look at Kansas State and you look at Missouri. How are they doing?
Very well.
Okay, so I'm looking at it like you. I'm saying, okay, the two schools that are in the closest proximity are both doing fairly well. So then my job was, once I took the job, is let's figure out why they're doing fairly well, and see if we can close the gap on them, quicker than they would like us to. And you look at what both those programs are doing, solid winning programs. I think that's one of the reasons that gave me reason for optimism, because there's no reason why you can't have a third one into the mix and become more competitive. Time frame, I can't give you. Okay, but I can tell you there's only two teams doing it. Okay, which tells you that it obviously can be done.